All right.
Hi.
Yay! Here we are at the BC Cancer Center in Abbotsford. This is the room we're in.
Very fancy, right?
We just
extremely plain.
we just filled out I just filled out the intake forms and talked to a nurse. Got a little folder with some pamphlets in it, with some numbers to call, like to help get counseling for my kids and stuff like that. So I'm excited about that. And we're soon to be meeting with Dr. Keith, not to be confused with Dr. Teeth. Hello, and welcome to video entry number 26. 26 days. That is insane to be meeting your oncologist for the very first time. Though I don't think he's going to be my oncologist for long if I can help it. So today went as I kind of thought it would. Mom and I, so you saw the little video of Mom and I in the little space there. So we're still looking at the door. We're watching people walk back and forth, and this skeletal old man walks by, and he's all hunched over, and he's like just almost like floating as a creepy specter in the cancer area. And I'm like, ooh, Mom says to me, oh, I hope that's not your doctor. And I'm like, that would be terrible. Sorry, I whispered that. She said, I hope he's not going to be your doctor. I hope that's not your doctor. Anyway, it was, spoiler, yeah, Dr. Keith. He walks in, sheepishly looking at me like, oh, you poor dear, and I'm like, yeah, I have pancreatic cancer, metastases to the liver. And he's like, oh, well, most people ask me right away, what are their odds? Do you want to talk about, your odds of survival? And I'm like, no. I know it's, the statistics are terrible, and they legitimately are. Like, they are hot garbage if you've bothered to look up survival rates of pancreatic cancer. But I said to him, I stole it right from Elise Roth. I said, I am a statistic of 1. So I am going to beat this. And he was just kind of looking at me like, oh, you poor sad thing. And I'm like, So I asked him, do you have any experience with pancreatic cancer? And he's like, oh, yes. Many years, many patients with pancreatic cancer. I'm like, oh, that's great. How many have survived or gone into remission? And he just stares at me. Cold, dead eyes with that kind of half smile that looks creepy as fuck. And I'm like, oh my God. So I said, so I'm going to be your first patient who's going to survive this. And he just looks at me again with dead eyes. And he's like, mm-hmm. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. And yeah, this is not a person I want on my team. I felt like literally a slab of meat on the cancer treatment assembly line. Does he believe in my ability to survive it? No. Nope. I mean, heaven forbid I break his perfect record, and I'm like, this is absolute, like, I'm already like almost shaking, like, and he's like, well, do you want me to tell you about your diagnosis? So I go ahead and tell him about my diagnosis. He's like, oh yes, that's correct. And he's like, okay, well, you seem very well versed. I'm thinking, I've had 26 days to think about and study and try to become an expert in, myself. Now, when I went to go see Dr. Sarah Donater, she said to me, you're going to want to be on Flox. Anyway, I'm saying it wrong, but anyway, it is the strongest chemo regimen that they have. Is it absolutely toxic? 100%. But in order to really attack this aggressively, I need to be aggressive. be aggressive, be aggressive. Anyway,
Are you ready for this?
so I was like, okay, well, I would like, he's like, well, let me tell you about the treatment options. And I said, well, I would like to go with Flovina. And he's like, oh, like surprised that I know what this term is. And I also have to say, after every sentence he said, he went, okay. Like he was literally Mr. Mackey from, except skeletal and super white, from South Park. Yeah, so he, talks me through all three treatment types. The first two have limited effectiveness, And the Flovinox is obviously the hardest hitter and the one with the most side effects. And he's like, And he was like, well, let me read them to you, which of course he would probably have to do regardless. And they're all horrifically terrible. But I said to him, if you have to cut off my leg without anesthetic with a rusty blade, this is how far I am willing to go to have this taken care of. So, yeah, it's terrible. I agree, but this is how I want to go. He was like, okay. And then he's like, well, to put a port in, and a port is this subdermal thing that they hook into, so you don't have to have an IV every time, or even, during the whole chemo process, and they just snap into that, and away you go. And he's like, well, that will take up about a month to have put in. And I'm like, tell me there is a faster option. And he's like, well, you could do a PICC line. It's not very pleasant, but you could do that, and you could be starting chemo in 2 weeks. I'm like, done. And he's like, well, you should probably take a night to think about it. And I'm like, I have had more than enough time to think about how I want to deal with this. So no, I know what I want. I want this now. So I went up for blood work. I got the prescriptions for the expensive prescriptions for anti-nausea medication. And then he talks about other costs, like up to $10,000 a month. And I'm like, holy fuck, yeah. So that was hard to hear, hard to listen to.
Mentioned everybody that we thought British Columbia was going to be paid.
Yeah, I didn't think
it's not paid.
Yeah, I didn't think there would be so much cost in British Columbia. Like, for all the taxes we pay into this system, why are people with cancer suffering by having to either put out this enormous amount of cash, or die, essentially? And another thing that we talked about was down in the U.S., which I know, when they do a genetic testing, which I'm going to go through, they check the biopsy piece. But in Canada, they don't do that, which I'm like, that's terrible. He's like, yeah. He's like, you can send it down to the U.S., but it's probably going to be $10,000 U.S. just to have the genetic makeup. But I'm like, what choice do I have? Like, if I want to attack this cancer as aggressively as possible, I need to know the genetic makeup of it. And that's really important. Yeah. So anyway, just more costs, more, I don't know, just this serious lack of giving a shit, which was really hard to face. Anyway, yeah, there was something else I was going to mention today.
Changing the address.
Oh, so Quinn and I were talking about, like, how do I get out of this guy's catchment and get somewhere where there's, like, a pancreatic specialist? Because tomorrow I'm going to put in a requisition to have, like, a pancreatic specialist assigned to me, not just general cancer Joe Blow dude. And Quinn suggested changing the address on my
Driver's license.
Driver's license. Thank you. So anyway, more things to consider, think about, and whatever. And you know what? I'm going to sign off because I have to go to the bathroom. But you're all amazing. Thank you for everything and your support. And I will talk to you tomorrow.